What if I told you that the most important messages aren't locked away in some high-tech vault? What if they're actually hiding right out in the open, where we'd never ever think to look? Well, today, we're going to dive into exactly that, the secret art of hiding things in plain sight.
All right, so take a good look at these two pictures of cherry blossoms. I mean, really look. To the naked eye, they're identical, right? See if you can spot any difference at all between the one on the left and the one on the right. I'll give you a second.
Yeah, you could probably stare at these all day and you'd come up with nothing. And that's because the real difference, well, it's completely invisible. There's a secret hidden deep inside one of these images. This, my friends, is the world of steganography, the incredible art of hiding data right in plain sight.
So the big question is, how is that even possible? To get it, we've got to go back a bit and look at this ancient art of concealed writing. It's an old idea that's found a seriously powerful and sometimes a pretty dangerous new life in our digital world. It's called steganography. Comes from the Greek for covered and writing. The best way to wrap your head around it, just think about invisible ink. You've got a piece of paper, looks like a totally normal letter, but between the lines, there's a whole other message just waiting. And it only shows up if you know exactly how to look for it. Okay, so that's the old school version. How in the world do you pull this off digitally? Well, it's this fascinating cat and mouse game, and it all starts with the hider. Let's take a look at their playbook.
And the methods are all over the map. On one end, you've got these surprisingly simple tricks, stuff you could literally do on your own computer in just a couple of minutes. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have these super sophisticated techniques that spies and cybercriminals use, and that requires some pretty powerful, dedicated software.
Let's start with a really basic one. Imagine you open up a Word document. You type your secret message, then you just highlight it and change the font color to white. Boom. To anyone else opening that file, it just looks like a blank page. Or you could just check the hidden box in the font settings. It's super low tech, for sure. But hey, for a casual observer, that message is as good as gone.
Here's another super simple hiding spot, metadata. Every single file in your computer, a photo, a song, whatever, it has all this extra info attached to it, like the date it was created. Well, here's the kicker. Some of those info fields can be edited. You can just type a secret message right into the description field of a photo, and honestly, whoever thinks to look there? Almost nobody.
But okay, for the really serious stuff, you need to level up. That's where dedicated software like OpenPuff comes in. An app like this lets you take an entire file, let's say a secret text document, and literally embed it inside another file, what they call a carrier file. It could be a photo, an audio track, a video, you name it. A few clicks, a password, and poof, your secret just vanishes into thin air.
And that brings us right back to our cherry blossoms. Remember these from the beginning? Well, the picture on the right, that's our carrier file. It looks 100% the same, but now it's secretly carrying a whole other file inside of it, embedded with a program just like OpenPuff.
And here is the really cool part, the reveal. The person who's supposed to get the message just takes that image, runs it through the same software, types in the right password, and out it pops. The original secret message. The eagle has landed. A completely invisible message sent and received.
Now, there are risks for the person doing the hiding. You can't get too greedy. If you try to stuff way too much secret data into your carrier file, you can actually break it. The image on the right there, it becomes all distorted and corrupted. That is a massive red flag telling anyone who sees it that something's up.
Okay, so if these messages can be hidden so perfectly, how does anyone ever find them? Right, let's flip the script. Time to put on our digital detective hats and see how the seekers operate. Remember those simple tricks we talked about? The white text and all that? Yeah, those don't stand a chance against modern forensic software. An investigator can scan millions of files and all their metadata for keywords in just seconds. White text, hidden text, it all just pops right up on their screen, plain as day. They'd find a word like eagle almost instantly.
But see, that's the easy stuff. What about the really well-hidden files? The ones that are deeply embedded using that sophisticated software? I mean, how do you even begin to look for something that is specifically designed to be completely invisible?
Well, investigators have a very clever, step-by-step process. See, first, they stop looking for the hidden message. Instead, they start hunting for the tools used to hide it, the steganography programs themselves. Once they find that program on a computer, they build a timeline. When was it used? And then, the crucial step, they check what other files were being opened or created at the exact same time.
This forensic timeline here shows you exactly how that works. You can see the program openpuff.exe was run at a very specific time, and what do you know? Right around that same time, a text file and an image file were also accessed. That timeline is the smoking gun. It creates this powerful link between the tool, the secret message, and the carrier file.
And this leads to the biggest clue of all. Even if two files look identical to our eyes, like our cherry blossom photos, digitally, they each have a unique fingerprint. It's called a hash value. Think of it like DNA for a file. And if you look, the hash values for these two photos are completely different. For an investigator, that is a dead giveaway. It screams that one of them has been altered.
So look, this isn't just some fun theoretical cat and mouse game. When this stuff is used in the real world, the stakes can be incredibly high.
Just take a look at these two real-world cases. In one instance, an Al-Qaeda member hid 141 secret files about terror plans inside pornographic videos. In another, Russian spies were using a program locked down by a massive 27-character password. But you know what? In both cases, all that sophisticated tech was beaten by simple human error. One person forgot to encrypt the files, and the others, they literally wrote the password down on a piece of paper.
And that just brings us to a pretty sobering thought, captured perfectly by this quote. The thing is, we only ever hear about the ones who mess up, the ones who get caught. The reality is, when this technique is done right, it just works. The message is sent, it's received, and the rest of us are completely in the dark. So that leaves us with one last, kind of unsettling question. Think about it. Every single time you download an image or stream a video, you're only seeing the surface. If we only ever see the ones who get caught, then how many secrets are flying right past us every single day, perfectly hidden in plain sight?